My name is David Frassinelli. I'm the Vice President for Facilities here at Fairfield University. I've been on this campus in this role for about 11 years. And I've seen a bit of a theme evolving. We've done a lot of construction and a lot of renovation. And the theme is we are looking to improve the overall quality of the facilities we provide, particularly at the undergraduate level. And we're going to see this in the buildings that I'm about to present to you. One building is the Dolan School of Business. This is an entirely new 84,000 square foot facility, which we are rapidly completing and planning the move process to start late July, August. It represents an entirely new facility. The School of Business is currently housed in a building on the southwest corner of campus and will be moving, as I mentioned, over the summer. One of the many attributes of the Dolan School of Business is the new finance lab with its Bloomberg terminals and the new data analytics lab and a lab on the second floor that we're calling the Innovation Lab. The building in general will have many high-tech spaces where students can work on presentations, where there's large data provided on monitors, and students can do active trading based on the market and current news as it happens. This will be very exciting and a building that will speak well and be more representative of the excellent program offered by the Dolan School of Business that, in fact, already exists. We are under construction as we speak on a project that we're calling the Barnyard. It received that name because the location it is sitting on is our former maintenance barn facility. This project is built as modular construction, so you'll see in the picture on the right one of the modulars that has been made in Pennsylvania. They are being lifted into place as we speak. They will create 128 new beds for juniors and seniors, all of which are single rooms. We have built these as townhouses with 8 students in each vertical townhouse. On the lower level will be a kitchen and living room, dining facility, dining areas, and as you go up to the second floor, 4 single rooms, and the third floor, 4 single rooms. Fully air-conditioned. We anticipate that these are going to be much sought after because it really is ideal housing. Modular going in, as I noted. We then finish up the siding of them, and the anticipated completion is August of this summer, and the rooms are fully booked. On the northeast corner of the campus, we have a series of buildings that we called the townhouses. Townhouses have always remained amongst the most popular housing options on campus for juniors and seniors typically. We believe they're popular because you have your own front door and it's a real sense of independence. While we have invested heavily in the townhouses, they have tended to look tired and dated from the color scheme, from the windows and the windows fogging. So we renovated completely 3 building blocks over the summer of 2018, and that's what's in the image here. New siding, new windows, new roofing, substantial upgrades in insulation. We have given these an as-new quality. We've done also extensive interior work in terms of kitchens, kitchen cabinets, and flooring to get a much more extended, useful life. As I mentioned, last summer we did 3. This summer we're doing another block of 6, starting on May 20th, completing by Labor Day. And the remaining 6 that we are not getting to this summer, we will get to the summer of 2020, such that all the units in this complex will be upgraded by Labor Day of 2020. In the campus, we have an area we call the Quad. That has primarily been housing for freshmen and sophomores. They are mid-century buildings, and they have not been air-conditioned. Over the summer of 2018, I see I put a typo in my presentation, that's 19, but it should be 18, we completed the renovations to Campion. That involved a complete gut rehab of the bathrooms. As you might imagine, the bathrooms were mid-century, designed for a time when it was an all-male institution with banks of urinals, for example. All of those are being ripped out and eliminated, and the creation of individual showers as opposed to, group showers. So we completed Campion over the summer of 18. Campion is air-conditioned, but more significantly, we created a new lounge on the ground floor to create front and center a place where students can gather, have activities, so that as students go back to their dorm rooms, they can walk by these lounges, see the activities, and be encouraged to go in and get involved. The lounge for Jogues, we'll be doing the same program for Jogues over the summer of 2019. You can see on the lower right-hand corner of the image the new ground floor lounge being added to Jogues. And that central stair will be renovated. Jogues has currently lounges in that center core, and we intend to upgrade those with finishes and new furniture and overall improve the appearance of it. It's interesting to hear from the students with these programs what impressed them the most. What I've heard consistently is the upgrades to the bathrooms have been the most popular. One of the things we did, we have students who have to bring their products to the bathrooms in little toters that you used to see lining the corridor. And what we've created is shelving and storage within the bathrooms so the toters can be kept in the bathrooms on shelves, and that was a stroke, I guess, of brilliance because all the students are very happy with that. And so again, Jogues this summer. We will do another dorm next summer. That may be Gonzaga, that may be Regis, and then we'll be doing one over the summer of 22, I believe. So it's moving our way around the campus to avoid complete disruption and upgrading these, but it's the same program, air conditioning and new bathrooms. We are looking at the university's library, which is the Domena Nasilius Library, which, interestingly enough, I built in the year 2000, in addition to the existing library, which was circa 1966. And at the time that I did that renovation, the library world was very different. We had an entire lower floor of microfiche and microfilm. We had bound periodicals, and we found with the changes in the way library services are delivered, a lot of that stuff, the periodicals being eliminated. We're looking at the library to become an academic commons. And what that means is centralizing academic support across the various departments at the university in one location. The thought behind that is it makes it easy to find, everyone knows where it is, and everyone is more encouraged to take advantage of those opportunities. One center that's currently already in the library is the Writing Center. We are designing an upgraded space that puts it up onto the main floor. We are also moving math tutoring out of the Banau Science Building, again, into this library on the main floor, and academic ACDC Career and Development Center. That's currently in the Kelly Center and being relocated into this academic commons. The concept is to create almost a sense of a main street with storefronts, with each of these support services along this main street, so that when you walk into the library or this academic commons, either on a student tour or as a student on campus, you see this array of opportunities and are encouraged to go in and take advantage of that. This also is a summer of 2019 construction program that will be kicking off the day after commencement. May 20th is the day, D-Day for construction. To that end, we have another summer project, which is the Banau renovations, summer of 2019. What we've been seeing in general is a greater interest in the sciences amongst undergraduates, but also we've had great success in our School of Nursing and our School of Engineering, and that in turn puts more pressure on the STEM sciences that are in Banau. When we built the School of Nursing, we created an additional floor onto the School of Nursing to serve as conventional classrooms. This now allows us to take classrooms that had been in Banau and renovate them into labs. So, for example, because of the robust program with nursing, we had always had one anatomy and physiology lab. Not only are we renovating the current A&P lab, but we're adding a new anatomy and physiology lab. We also have some very interesting technology, which is a dissection table where you can bring up a cyber human cadaver and go through the various layers looking down onto this table. This renovation allows us to strategically locate this new dissection table between the two A&P labs so that we can leverage this table. Both classes that are going on at the same time can take a break, go in, use the table, and then quickly return to their classroom. This renovations allow us not only to create new chemistry and biology labs, but create more adjacencies that work better for the program, and quite honestly allow us to better display all the great work that the departments are doing in terms of showing this work to students and fostering greater collaboration. Canisius Hall is another summer renovation. It's about a $9 million renovation that will be starting, like the others, on May 20th and finishing by Labor Day. All this adds up to a very busy summer for me and not a lot of free time, but we love it. Canisius is a workhorse for our academic division. It's a building that's booked very, very heavily, and it's a mid-century building that's had limited renovations in the past. Our approach to this building will be very comprehensive. Again, all new toilet rooms, a new renovations for the entire envelope of the building. So that's new energy-efficient windows, a new roof, patching of masonry. We are also replacing the heating, cooling, and ventilation, the HVAC system, with something called a VFR system, which is a variable flow refrigeration. This gives us greater control of heating and cooling, particularly during the shoulder seasons where you may have a particularly warm day in April or a particularly cold day in October. This will give us greater control over the conditioning of that spaces. As I'd mentioned, we had done renovations in the past, but again, this will be a much more comprehensive program involving the full abatement of the any asbestos-containing materials. Most of it has been floor tiles, which has been under carpet. But again, the building will be brought back online Labor Day weekend in a fresh, as-new condition. One of the things that we're in the early planning stages on is a new convocation center. We have had for many years a lot of interest in people bringing more of our games back on campus from downtown Bridgeport. We actually did this over the last season with more games on campus than we've had in the past. The location of this facility will be on the footprint, on top of what's currently Alumni Hall. So we would demolish Alumni Hall and build this new facility. It will have approximately 3,500 game day seats, and we'll have one game day court. With retractable seating, we can then make that into 2 practice courts. It will have a large lounge, a Stag's Lounge for game day events, and it'll really be a state-of-the-art facility with a proper scoreboard, new scoreboards, and that sort of stuff. And then, as I mentioned, we're early in the planning of this. Our next step will be to approach the town for approvals on this building, and then we will be able to commit to actual construction dates. We believe it'll take about 16 months to complete this facility, and we will need to make plans for how we manage the functions that had been an alumni hall during the construction of this project. One of the things that always happens in facilities is constantly looking forward and constantly being prepared. Much of the building that we had done came out of the Vision 2020 strategic plan. A strategic plan tells you sort of the goals that you want to achieve. The facilities department then translate those goals into buildable, actionable, bricks and mortar type programs. So a strategic plan may say we want to improve the quality of housing. A master plan will say we will do that with 2 new dorms. The Vision 2020 plan happened, the years have gone by quickly, and we find ourselves on the edge of 2020 and do not necessarily see the need for an entirely new strategic plan, but something that's more of a refresh of the existing master plan. I've shown you a slide, for example, of the Dolan School of Business new building. The first question I'm often asked is, what happens to the former Dolan School of Business? That's something that has yet to be determined. You know, the Kelly Center is a facility that we are moving AC/DC out. What becomes of that vacant space? All of this goes into the strategic planning. Are we looking at expansion and growth? If so, what and where? That may well be something that happens at a graduate level, whereas our focus remains committed to the undergraduate experience. Do our facilities do everything they can for the undergraduate? And that's going to be our focus. Thank you. That is the extent of my prepared presentation. I understand that we are getting and can get some questions from those of you who are watching. Do we have any questions?
Right now we have a couple comments that are very excited about the changes that you spoke about, so thank you for covering that. We don't currently have any questions in the comment section nor in our email, but feel free to add one right now.
It's a very quiet audience today. I will say that if you visit the university's website, my contact information and I believe my email is posted. So any questions you have, feel free to shoot me an email and reach out to me.
Okay. So we do have a question. So on your last slide, you included that the Jesuit residents might be having some construction in the future. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, we're looking at the Jesuit residence. A lot of what's been happening there has been improving the overall air quality of that facility and and upgrades to that. So that's the current thinking for the Jesuit residence.
Sounds good. So we do have another question about any plans for the Tully, about increasing any seating, because it looks like a student has some difficulty at dinner finding a place to sit, or if there's going to be any new dining options available.
I think at this stage, we don't have any current plans to expand the Tully. My colleague Jim Fitzpatrick has been very creative in terms of opportunities and options that can relieve some of the congestion on that. And we are always open to suggestions. I know before we built the Tully, we had some dining options in the mezzanine level, or opening up other areas, or extending times. At this point, we would be open to that.
Great. So another question about the convocation center that you mentioned. Once it's built, do you anticipate all basketball games will be back on campus?
The convocation center at this point, the plan is to bring pretty much all of our basketball games on campus. I think we will remain open to all options. If we have a game on campus that we believe is going to dramatically exceed the 3,500 seat capacity, then we would be open to other options. But for now, that's going to be the primary location, the primary venue for our games.
We have a question about if there's going to be any updates to McCormick.
70 McCormick?
Yes.
70 McCormick is a dorm in the quad that was completed in 2011. It's 133 beds. That is along the lines of a traditional dorm with the double rooms off the corridor and the gang bathrooms. One upgrade that did happen over last summer is while that dorm had been built with the capacity for air conditioning, it did not have air conditioning until September of 2018. At present, we have no plans to make any further changes to 70 McCormick.
Thank you. How about any plans for parking improvements on campus?
Parking?
Yes.
We are constantly looking at parking, and we have a parking consultant who looks at our total capacity. One of the challenges we've had, particularly this spring, is we've had two things that have impacted parking on campus. One is the construction programs that physically take away parking spaces because we're building a building on it. The Dolan School of Business is a case in point. There was a parking lot there that was taken away for the duration of construction. That parking lot, when Dolan is completed and opened, will reopen. It will be a few less spots, but again, it will be reopened. We are also building a new parking lot between the Quick Center and the library that will be behind the new building. That parking lot will come online to coincide with the opening of the Dolan School of Business. When the Dolan School of Business vacates their current facility, the parking that was there will remain there and be aimed at helping with any parking needs associated with the new townhouses. Another thing that's impacted us this spring is we have taken the 86-car parking lot, which is north of the existing School of Business, as a staging area for our cranes and our modular construction. Our plan is once the townhouses are completed this August, that lot also will come back 86 spots. We have built temporary spots to help with the congestion. But the other thing, in addition to taking lots offline for construction, we have quite a few trade contractors who drive on campus and park in order to build these new facilities. All of that traffic will be gone, with the completion of the building programs. So it's creating new spaces. It is returning spaces that have been taken offline this spring for construction, and elimination of the trade parking will make significant improvements to parking on campus.
Great, thank you. One more question has come in. What would you say were your top lessons learned from construction Languth?
From construction what?
Languth, the new residence hall?
Lessons learned. I think overall the building program went well with Languth. We did complete on schedule. No lessons learned spring to mind from Languth per se. I would say that we were more concerned about the renovations. Case in point, the Campion renovation finished very, very close to the start of the school year, literally right upon Labor Day. And one of the reasons why we did Campion as the first one is that it's one of the smallest dorms in the quad. And if we did not meet the schedule, which is something that's not acceptable to me, it would have had the minimal impact. We purposely did Campion. We're now attacking Jogues Hall, which is about 20% larger. There were a lot of lessons learned that came out of Campion, one of which we tried to renovate Campion and work around the existing furniture. It all got done, but it could have been done more efficiently and quicker if we emptied the building. When we renovate Jogues, we will be emptying the building. We will also be looking to build a little bit more cleaner. There was quite a bit of dust and debris in Campion. Again, it made the cleanup a little bit more difficult. We took a similar approach with the existing townhouses, it's the reason why we are extending that over multiple years. Our plan originally was only to do 2 townhouse blocks, 14 and 15, but 13 needed a new roof, and we figured if we're going to the trouble of putting a new roof on, let's do the whole thing. We took a smaller program so that we could capture the lessons learned. Renovation is much more difficult because you have all sorts of surprise in existing conditions. As with both projects, one of the biggest lessons learned is the award of key materials and contracts early on in the system, in the programming of this. So, for example, at Jogues, we awarded the window contract in January and have the materials all sitting on site ready to go. We did not have that luxury with Campion. In Campion, we obtained our planning and zoning approvals in May and started construction 5 days later. Again, all of the projects in the quad and the townhouses also are fully approved with the town. So those are our lessons learned.
Okay, we had one last question come in, and then this is going to be our last question for today. So could you go over again what interior areas are being renovated in the townhouses?
So in the townhouses, a couple things we've found. The entire interior, upstairs, everything will be painted. In the lower level, we are doing the cabinets, many of the cabinets that are beyond their useful life and are, quite frankly, a little beat up. Another thing that we found in the townhouses is that the living rooms with the carpet tend to look tired from year to year, those years that we don't replace the carpet. Carpet has its advantages. Carpet also has its disadvantages. So one of the things that we're doing is ripping out all of the carpet in the living rooms in the townhouses, but also ripping out all the subflooring. The subflooring, the plywood underneath, we have found, depending on what's happened over the course of the academic year in terms of spillage and that sort of thing, the plywood underneath has been tired. So what we are doing is ripping the plywood out, putting in new plywood, putting some mildicides and treatments on that, and then putting another layer of plywood, as well as a luxury vinyl floor product. It'll look like wood flooring, but again, a lot easier to clean and maintain. I will also note that all of our projects, for example, the townhouses, Canisius and so forth, gives us an opportunity to do extensive cleaning of all HVAC systems and ductwork. So the cleaning of all the existing ductwork in the townhouses will be part of this program.
Great. Thank you so much for your time, David. We are going to wrap up now, but I put David's contact information in the comment stream for this video if you want to follow up with additional questions. Have a great afternoon, everyone.
Great. Thanks again.